Barry is going to do a set for us, and he's an actual comedian.
Yes,
he's
like
very,
he's funny.
Okay. Does such good input, like really good input.
Good input is when you said that Rebecca sang songs to you. You sang like songs, like music.
Yeah, I mean, touche. Okay. All right. So Danny Barry is going to do a set. It's going to be amazing. He's actually very good at this.
And he's not a lawyer, so he's cooler than us. He's not a lawyer, so he's cooler than us lawyers.
I'm pretty cool, so I don't know. You're done. Okay. All right, here we go. Danny.
So, growing up, my parents always told me that I never really stuck with anything like Little League, basketball, Civil War reenacting. I was never really able to find my thing, but that all changed during the pandemic. I found my passion, and I committed to it. And now, I practice for hours at a time every day. And that is why I could stand here before you tonight and say, my name is Danny, and I am an alcoholic. So sorry, this is the wrong venue, but my name is Danny, and I am an alcoholic, and you'll figure out why very soon. I'm sorry if I seem a little off my game tonight, but I'm sure a lot of you out in the audience can relate to having a little one at home. And, I lose a lot of sleep worrying that she's going to be okay. She's at that difficult age, that Brittany sang about, where she's not a girl, not yet a woman. And, of course, I'm talking about my dog, Stella. She's a 7-year-old, 9-pound Chihuahua Dachshund who somehow takes up most of our queen bed and likes to walk across my keyboard while I'm trying to work. She's still the best damn secretary I've ever had. But as much as I love Stella, I found that she can be kind of an asshole sometimes. Like when she activates gremlin mode at 3 a.m. and jumps out of bed to find the dirty sock she hid earlier. And then she cries to get back in the bed with the dirty sock in her mouth. She's like a drug addict who knows she has a problem and just can't help herself. She's like, please, Dad, just one more hit off the dirty sock. I got no place else to go. So I put her back in the bed, and she jumps out to start all over again. It's like we're playing a game where there are no rules, and she's the only contestant. Now, I know a lot of people don't agree with a family bed, but it's what Stella wants. So even if that means that my wife and I are prevented from doing other activities, and I haven't had a decent night's sleep in 6 years, it's all worth it when you wake up to find that steaming pile of crap that Stella left the night before in a dirty sock-induced haze. Now, I like to think we give Stella a pretty good life at home, but she doesn't always seem to appreciate that. She'll run out the front door every chance she gets, and most of the time I notice, but sometimes I don't. Like the other day, I'm sitting on the couch and I hear a dog barking outside, and gee, that sounds like Stella. Go outside, sure enough, there's Stella barking at a woman and her asshole baby. At least I think Stella was calling the baby an asshole, but I can't be sure. I'm just glad I caught her, because otherwise she might have ended up on some street corner panhandling for dirty socks. I don't know. Having a dog is really a lot of work. I'm thinking maybe we should just have a few kids. But anyways, have you ever noticed how when people die, we kind of pretend to forget what crappy people they were? Just in the last couple weeks, well, OJ probably definitely killed his wife, but he did win the Heisman Trophy. And have you seen The Naked Gun? Oh, Nordberg. I just worry about what people are going to say about me after I die, especially after they find my search history. Not to mention the drinking, obesity, and anger issues, but I guess I'll just have to wait and see, right? So, I was at my cousin's wedding recently, and she had a table full of pictures of dead family members, including my father, next to a sign that said, "If only heaven had a telephone." Now, I'm looking at this rogues gallery of dead relatives, and I tell you, I couldn't find one that would be in heaven, let alone allowed to use its phone. And besides that, if heaven did have a telephone, I would hope these people wouldn't waste their time calling me when they can harass the people they hated from beyond the grave by calling to ask them about their car's extended warranty. And I tell you, I know for a fact that my Aunt Karen is not in heaven. The range on her electronic ankle monitor could never reach that far. And unfortunately, I'm positive that my dad would not be allowed to use that phone. The results of my ancestry DNA test made sure of that. And I'd just like to give a shout out to my new half-sister. That guy, he wouldn't have made it past St. Peter. If anything, he would have to call collect from Hell's payphone, and I promise you, no one up here is going to accept those charges. So, actually, if that sign were accurate, it would have said, if only hell had a ladder. Now, speaking of hell, I grew up on the far northwest side of Chicago, specifically a neighborhood called Dunning, which was actually named after an old mental institution. And as I got older, that started to make a lot more sense. For example, at every grammar school dance where we were entertained by DJ Someone's Dad, the slow dance song was always Lee Greenwood's God Bless the USA. And then there was my elderly neighbor who would swear she saw a ghost walking through our yard every time she mixed her medication. And the friend's dad who every Saturday at 3 p.m. would sit in their front room in his tighty-whities watching Amazing Pets with William Shatner. And of course, all the parents who didn't care if their kids drank as long as it was under their roof, because nothing brings families together like alcoholism. So it was a big adjustment when I got married and moved out to the suburbs, where they have standards and driveways. The biggest adjustment for me was having to bring the garbage cans to the curb every week, because in Chicago we have alleys. So the garbage cans are always in the same place because we wouldn't want to confuse the rats. But now, I have to drag 2 garbage cans to the curb every Wednesday, and that is the worst thing that has ever happened to me. And I once found a dead body. Of course, in Chicago, we just call that growing up. But even that was less traumatic than having to go to the Jewel to buy a sticker every time I want to throw out a toilet. And, as if the garbage cans weren't bad enough, I recently found out my town is segregated by Lifestyle magazine. A magazine that no one actually subscribes to, just showed up in our mailbox one day. So the elites like me on the south side of town get Cottage Hill magazine, while those peasants on the north side, they get nothing. So no teeth whitening tips, no novelty Real Housewives of Elmhurst candles, or gossip about the Thanksgiving turkey trot for them. Oh no. Those poor SOBs, they have to depend on that toxic cesspool known as the Nextdoor app for cat memes, lifestyle tips about why they shouldn't get vaccines, and the gossip about why there were police cars at an intersection 2 weeks ago. Spoiler alert, it was due to police activity. At that time I found a dead body. Who says you can't go home again? Thank you, that's my time.